And the Three Musketeers ride once again here on Smack Talk on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Facebook page and Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino, SP3, the wrestling legend himself, with his tag team partner, the Stogie there, Dutch Mantell. Welcome in, everybody. We appreciate everybody joining us here on a Friday night. It is 10:11 p.m. on August 23rd already, and another episode of SmackDown is in the books. We had two title matches tonight. We had title challenger and champion tagging in the main event. Can Cody Rhodes trust Kevin Owens? Hell, we don't know. I don't know. My heart skipped a beat on that final segment. That's for damn sure. Dutch, we missed you last week. Glad to see you back. What'd you think of the show overall tonight?
Tonight, I loved the show. I liked it. They had some maintenance to do, and they did it. And they kept you guessing right to the very end. Would Kevin Owens turn on Cody? And there was a moment that you said, whoop, here it is, but it didn't happen. And I like that. And I also like Kevin Owens' interview when he came out. He said, okay, let's cut to the chase here. I'm going to go in there and you're going to beat me up and somebody else is going to come out. Then you're going to hey, let's skip all that. Let's go straight to the guy and make the match. I love that.
Yeah,
that's what everybody was thinking. Oh, this is what's going to happen, and blah blah blah. But now they're kind of turning those set rules around, and now you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, SP3. I don't know, because there was a lot that happened on this show, and it from like the get-go in that opening segment tonight, it felt like they were trying to just get through it, but they did it in such a creative way where they had Grayson Waller cutting off Cody Rhodes and saying, yeah, we get it. What Washington, D.C., what do we want to talk about? We did the cringe. Whoa, let's move on. And then you get Kevin Owens, who comes out there and he's doing his whole like Deadpool routine where he's just like, look, we know how this is going to go. I already talked to Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis, you come out here, just make this damn tag team match. Do I have time to go punch him in the face real quick? All right, cool. Thank you. Drops the mic, punches. It was a fun opening segment, but it did feel like they were trying to rush through it, but at least they did it in a fun way.
Well, that's when it's good. That's when it's good, is when you don't notice the time. And the first hour flew by. Second hour slowed down a little bit, but it was a good show.
I'm not one to ruin anybody's fun, so I'm glad you guys liked the show. I was bored to death. I'll be honest. I thought this show was rather dull. It was rather dull, and I tell you, it might be because Roman Reigns wasn't on the show. I felt like this show was missing its spark, and its spark right now is Roman Reigns. I'm
agreeing with you halfway, and I thought Roman Reigns would be there, or maybe The Rock. I don't know why I even thought that, but it does make you think now that's what they're looking for. So whenever the Roman does show up, business is picking up. I don't know if it could pick up anymore. And then when The Rock joins in, there's another jump. So they got two steps before the end of the year that they know they can go to. And that's a great thing for a creative team or a booker to saying, well, if worst comes to worst, if everybody just fell over hurt and you need that spark, he knows where to go. So I applaud him for that.
The biggest positive I can give to this show is that Washington, D.C. was an awesome crowd.
They were on
hot. They were hot the entire night. I didn't think that they got the best show. It felt like Dutch said, very much a maintenance show. He calls it a maintenance show. I call it a filler show where I didn't really have to watch. I could have told you what was going to happen.
Well, a maintenance show is they just service what they've already done. That's why I call it the maintenance show.
I mean,
I call it a filler. It's a filler show. They're 2 weeks before a pay-per-view. They're not going to do anything. I knew that Kevin Owens wasn't going to turn on Cody Rhodes. When they announced that it was Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens versus A-Town Down Under, I was like, I literally saw this 3 weeks ago. I know what's going to happen. They win. Y'all fake like Owens is going to turn on him, and you close the show. And that's what I got at the end of the day.
So you're seeing visions now of the future?
Hey, no, I literally saw this. They literally did this match before SummerSlam. They literally did Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes versus A-Town Down Under to build up to Cody versus Solo Sikoa. That's how the Bloodline took out Kevin Owens. It was that match that set up the Bloodline beatdown afterwards. The only interesting part to me for this whole night was very good U.S. Championship matchup with LA Knight and Santos Escobar and the Bloodline. The Bloodline, at least with the Solo and Jacob Fatu, who is owning in his role. I love him so much, handing the title over and then Solo hugging him. I love you, Solo. You Solo.
We got enthusiastic rail line streamer saying, I thought for sure Kevin Owens was going to turn on Cody Rhodes after their match. He was in the right place at the right time. I think it's going to happen next Saturday. I don't know if it's going to happen. KO says he's not that guy anymore. And we'll dive into all this. I will just say that definitely my heart skipped a beat when he started charging at him with the title, but that had more to do with work-related reasons.
But you watched, but you were watching.
Oh, no, I was watching for very, very closely because I talked to Kevin Owens this morning. I've got a piece that's going to come out with him on Sports Illustrated on Monday. And I'm like, if he turns on Cody, this screws up the entire piece that I had planning on. So this was entirely selfish on my part. I'm like, y'all better not do no damn shit tonight. Let me focus on what I need to do this weekend and drop that on Monday. So I'm happy they didn't go that step tonight. But let's dive into this a little bit further here, guys. Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
I don't even think they needed even if they were even thinking about it. There's no need to do it because Cody he's going a different direction. So and that would leave Kevin Owens just sitting out there by himself.
The only thing
nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is like right now, like. If they get through this match at Bash of Berlin, Cody wins and they hug it out, right? It's like, who is the next big bad for Cody to go up against? You got Solo Sikoa saying, hey, I got next. Are we really going to go right back to Cody and the Bloodline once again? Like, it just seems like there's a piece to the overall puzzle that is missing for Cody because we know Solo and Roman and the Bloodline and the Bloodline 2.0, they're going to be mixing it up over the next several months. I don't know where that missing piece comes into play for Cody. Who's his big bad over the next several months?
I think.
Who would you say, Sid?
It's Orton. It's Randy Orton. That's why I don't think that Kevin Owens is going to turn on him because then you'll just be doing the same angle twice of Kevin Owens turning on him and then Randy Orton turning on him. I think that they've been sowing the seeds, giving the breadcrumbs to Orton's eventual turn on Cody Rhodes since this summer, since the beginning of the summer. And I think they're going to pay off with that, with Orton coming up short against Gunther and then coming back to SmackDown and immediately turning on Cody.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they choose. I think Orton makes so much sense, and I could see why they would be tempted not to do Randy because he's arguably the most over with the crowds that he's been as a babyface in a long time. But you could say that about, I don't know, 8 or 9 guys on the roster right now.
They have like 10 ridiculously over baby faces.
I know.
And there's only so many spots, regardless of how many guys you have over, and this might be the most over baby faces that WWE has ever had. You only need about 5 of them. You only need about 5, and everybody has kind of gotten their place where Cody and Roman are battling for number 1. LA Knight feels like he's number 3 at this point with the pops that he's been getting the last couple of weeks, especially on the SmackDown roster. Like, then you got the Owens and Orton, where I feel like one of those guys have to turn heel. CM Punk over on Raw, he has to turn heel and stop being happy-go-lucky Punk because no one likes that. I'm sorry. I know WWE was like, oh, that promo came out well. He spent 75% of his promo on Monday talking about how happy he is. And I got bracelets from people. And I talked to this fan who survived cancer. And, nice story. If it's real, great job, Ghouls. But that's not the CM Punk people like. What are we talking about?
I almost think they're doing that on purpose. They
listen to this show.
No, it's not on purpose. It's literally what Punk wants to do. It's what Punk wants to say. Punk wants to be liked, especially because he knows he has no backup plan this time.
Love me, viciously love me.
His backup plan is going to NXT to run that place.
Exactly.
That's his backup plan.
For sure. For sure. All right, let's dive into this show, gentlemen. Guys, make sure to get your comments in. Make sure to get your super chats in. That's the only way to guarantee to get your comment read on the air tonight. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll dive into as much of the chat as we can throughout the show tonight. But seeing as we're 10 minutes in and we're still on the intro, let's get going. We open up with the Grayson Waller effect, and he wastes no time in introducing Cody Rhodes. He and Cody kind of trade barbs back and forth with one another. Waller cutting off Cody's shtick. I think it was a time-saving thing, but I did enjoy that. Cody tries to fan the flames there and get the division once again going between A-Town down. And it was almost like Grayson Waller was prepared for this, because he was like, hey, I'm not the untrustworthy one here. That would be your good friend, Kevin Owens. And then SP3, we get the video montage package of all of Kevin Owens, or at least like the main Kevin Owens knife in the back betrayals that he has done over the last 10 years since he signed in WWE. Obviously, Sammy, his first few months with the company. Then they show John Cena, Chris Jericho. They threw that one in there, which how could you not? I don't care if Jericho's in AEW right now. That was the one at the top.
And the John Cena one doesn't really count.
It doesn't really know.
He literally came out to answer an open challenge and attack John Cena. Neither did the second Sami Zayn one.
That was a weird highlight choice for that one.
Yeah, I was like, they're just trying to make this a little bit bigger, but it was good. It was good. It came across very, very well.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about the Kofi Kingston one. Like it completely. I forgot about the whole what they call him. They called him Big O. Yeah, when I think Big E was hurt at the time, so they called him Big O. I completely forgot about that.
But for the fans like me, I missed all that. So it was a good way to catch me up that he has done this time and time and time again. So it's expected of him, which added to me. They talk about context. That filled in the context for me, because during those times it was going, I wasn't watching the show. I don't know what I was doing, but I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching WWE.
You weren't getting paid.
To watch the product, you got to pay me to watch the show. But tonight, I'm starting to enjoy it now.
Yeah, I liked Kevin Owens. Comes out immediately, and he starts, talking to Cody and talking to everybody. I love how he you got to understand, everybody kind of deserved that, except for Kofi. Kofi, I apologize again. I'm sorry. That one was on me. The other guys, they deserved it. Can't blame me for that one whatsoever. And then, like we said, we go into his whole fourth wall routine. Let's just stop. Let's just get right to the point here. We all know we're going to argue. Nick Aldis is going to come down. He's going to make a tag team match. I already talked to him backstage. Nick, can you go out there and can you go ahead and just make this tag team match official? Nick Aldis comes down. He was like, you're right. We did talk. Yeah, that's going to be the main event tonight. And then Kevin was like, I know we got to go, but do I have time to go punch these guys just real quick? Nick Aldis was like, yeah, but make it fast. We didn't even see the camera cut to Kevin Owens. He was gone that fast. He's like, cool, drops the mic in the ring. They start punching. But the nice little tease there also, Dutch, of when Kevin Owens went for a clothesline and he missed and he got shoved into Cody. And it's like, okay. That was a nice little drop of, okay. All right. But maybe they do something here, but it was a nice tease.
I got that, but I thought Cody should have reacted a little more than he did. But still, the thought was there, and I think all the fans watching now, they're kind of in on the act anyway, and they're kind of saying, "Well, that's to make you think." But anyway, it was a good show, and sometimes you can just look over things like that. But at the end, like you said, you were waiting for it, and they went back to it, and when he took that title and made a move toward Cody, and I was thinking, and then he ran past him. So it was good.
That was perfectly timed too at the end. But honestly, my favorite part of the night, SP3, was their little backstage interaction with one another, which, could be seen as kind of a throwaway thing, but it really kind of dives into the insecurities of Kevin Owens as an on-screen character. He's talking about, hey, you trust me, right? Like you understood what I was saying, right? Like all those guys, they deserved it, right? Like he is basically telling Cody he's showcasing his own trust issues. He is the one that doesn't trust anybody, and hence he's always the one that's lashing out and acting out and getting people before they get him. And he wants that security that Cody Rhodes believes him and trusts him and trusts that he's not that guy anymore. And Cody's just like, all I can do is react to what you do, Hoss. That's it. Like, I got you. I did like that. It was kind of one of those subtle things. If you blink, if you miss it kind of thing. But I love that.
It's conversational. I mean, it's not like an interview. That's two guys talking to each other, and then it ends, and now it leaves you with your own individual thoughts.
Yeah, and Kevin
was
Owens
well done.
Is really good at that, and it's its own insecurities because he's lying. They didn't all deserve that. Like if you were an astute and
yes, they did.
If he said it, all these things, it was.
If he said it.
It was Sami Zayn who invited him into WWE and just wanted to have his best friend work close with him. And Kevin Owens, on his first night in the company, turns on him after he wins the NXT championship. It's John Cena who throws out an open challenge and is ready to face the NXT champion Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens decides to attack him and not even have the matchup and lay him out to set up to make a name for himself. It's Chris Jericho who was his best friend, who helped him retain the Universal Championship every step of the way, and then he decides to turn on him out of nowhere to show his vicious side before he versus Goldberg. It's Kofi Kingston, who's the WWE champion, who's happy-go-lucky Kofi. That's why Kevin Owens had to fall back and take back some of his stuff and say, okay, Kofi didn't deserve it. And then it's Sami Zayn, who just wanted to be his friend again, and Kevin Owens wanted to fight him at WrestleMania and basically bullied him into a match at WrestleMania.
That was verbal abuse. Like, that was a verbal assault at the head. He's just like, oh my God, fine, I'll do it. Just don't hit me.
Rick is absolutely right. All of those things is Kevin Owens, and is a very insecure character. That's why I did enjoy the backstage segment, because it's him very much being kind of like overcompensating for the fact that he is the guy that will do that.
How long ago were most of those? Over the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they went up to Thunderdome era. I think that was 2021. I think that was the date. They showed the dates on it, but I can't remember what dates they were. But yeah.
But for me, it filled it in. I got the context. Now I understand it.
And they never showed, and they didn't show anything after. That was all before Cody got there. And one of the lines was like, "Hey, look, me, Cody and I, we've been cool. I've never done any of this stuff to you. Like we've been great since you got here. Like, everything's fine. I'm a totally different guy since you got here. We are cool." We'll see if it stays that way at Bash of Berlin next week. Italiano wants to know, Dutch, your thoughts on Chris Jericho, an AEW superstar, being used in that video package tonight. I don't think you can do a Kevin Owens montage of vicious turns and exclude the Festival of Friendship. You own the footage. You might as well use it, right?
Yeah, that's what I like about it, because he was in a big angle and they own it, so they should use it. And I thought it was, he said, "Hey, what is this? I don't see my name," or whatever he's asking the question. Then bam, he beat the crap out of him. It fit.
My name here.
And if you do it, keep doing it.
We our first of two title matches tonight. The United States Championship was on the line. It was LA Knight, against Santos Escobar. C. Los Garza attack LA Knight during the opening introductions. They drag him out of the ring. They throw him into the steel ring steps. Jessica Carr then tosses the entire La Familia before we finally get this match underway here. Crowd white hot for this one, guys. Knight is able to overcome the shoulder injury from getting thrown into the steel ring steps. He ends up beating Escobar after a hop, top rope elbow, and a BFT. SP3 said you liked this match. It was one of the best ones on the night for you. We have seen these guys work before. I will definitely say I think it was one of their hotter matches that they've had.
This was their best match that I've seen from these two. They developed pretty good chemistry with one another, and I thought that Santos played the heel role very well. And I was worried during his entrance because the juxtaposition of those two entrances was quite astonishing. to hear LA Knight super over babyface, and then the absolute silence that was Santos Escobar's entrance to the ring. But the crowd was into everything that they delivered. They firmly established Santos as the heel, with Los Garza's getting involved and Elektra Lopez getting involved, eventually being kicked out from ringside. He got a good amount of heat, and LA Knight seemed motivated with the hot crowd, busting out that jump up elbow drop that he did to Logan Paul back at SummerSlam here. LA Knight seemed motivated and energetic, and it turned out to be a really good matchup, and probably the best, I would say, the best match on this show.
It was the best match. But just to go to show you how WWE has trained their fans over the years, after the win by Escobar, I halfway expected the other guys to come back in. The same old thing, monkey see, monkey do, but they didn't. They entered it with a hand in the air, and LA Knight's been hitting the gym pretty hard. He is cut up now, and he looks good. He really looks good.
Yeah, the United States Championship looks great on him, and he's going to, honestly, I would not hate it if this is just what he's going to do now. He gets a backstage segment with Byron Saxton. Byron gets about 2 words out before LA Knight says, hey, you've already talked too much. Let me go ahead and issue this open challenge. I'm going to defend this championship overseas. I'm going to go to Berlin. So he's issuing an open challenge for next Friday on SmackDown. Who do we think answers it? Is it AJ Styles or is it Shinsuke Nakamura? Those are my 2 guesses.
I'll go with Shinsuke. I'll go with Nakamura.
We have not seen Shinsuke since he got drafted, I don't think. I almost forgot he was on the roster. He's been that's a lot of surfing.
I feel like AJ Styles is big enough, and he has the established rivalry with LA Knight that I would want to see that on a PLE. So if it's just going to be on SmackDown, then Nakamura.
We got a backstage segment. Not a backstage segment. We got Carmelo Hayes in the barbershop, just chilling with his boys, talking about how he beat Andrade last week. And then Andrade invades the barbershop. He goes in there. He says, hey, look, what you did after the match last week, that was disrespectful. I'm not going to have that. I'm going to see you next week. So we are getting match number 4 next week. Andrade leaves. And then Carmelo's like looking at his boys like, fuck, we need to lock these doors when I'm in here talking. Anywho, I thought this was a nice, quick little backstage. Damn it, not backstage. Out of scene, out of character vignette package that they put together. SP3, can we just say that we're doing a best of 7 already? Because clearly we're doing a best of 7 without calling it a best of 7.
I thought it was a best. I thought it was a best of 5. Now it's 7.
It's my headcanon. It's the best of 7. They don't need to announce it.
Okay,
it's my headcanon. It's in headcanon. It's already there for me. They don't need to say it. I know that's where we're going here. And how dare Andrade? That is disrespectful. What you did, sir. You don't step into somebody. You don't try to come up to the chair when he's getting his haircut, when he's getting his lineup. You ain't never seen a fresh line with that hair. You go to the hair salon for your hair, Andrade. You don't go get a nice little lineup. Man, that's disrespectful. How dare you talk about disrespectful?
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
I feel attacked talking about going to hair salons because that's where I'm my entire.
Yeah, you and Andrade. You had to wait in line for Andrade.
You need to do an interview with him for Sports Illustrated where you're both in the barbershop and you're talking to each other as he's getting a haircut. That's different.
I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Not a lot that I wouldn't do for money though. That's Dutch, what do you think of the backstage segment with your boy Baron Corbin tonight?
Well, what I do appreciate is that who were they talking to?
Legado del Fantasma. Yeah, right after Santos lost. Santos got right up in Garza's grill saying you fucked everything up. Your timing was off. You screwed up the entire plan. You can't help me win if you're not at ringside. Which apparently nobody told Angel, like you said, Dutch, you can just show back up. Security at WWE is lax. Just because you got tossed doesn't mean. How many times have we seen somebody get tossed? Hell, They did that in the main event of WrestleMania 2 years ago. Solo Sikoa got tossed and then he showed back up again. No one told Garza that.
Well, when they went backstage, now they got a place for those guys to go, Phantasmal guys to go, and, for Corbin too. So nothing's lost. He loses, but he moves ahead.
Yeah.
So I do like that. They don't leave anybody. I mean, on this show tonight, everybody had background. They had context. That's my new word. But they have background, and if you've been watching it a little bit, very easy to fill it in. But when I saw Corbin, I went, oh, God, please, no. So he's going to have to resell me now. I liked him better when he was the homeless bum. That's when I liked him the best.
Yeah, you say it's them getting set up with something, but, I mean, going back to Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin feels like nothing. I don't know. I'm not too confident in the future of Legado del Fantasma right now.
What do you think,
Ozzy,
Rick?
I did not get a haircut. I'm just not wearing a hat.
He's just bald.
Hell no.
He's going bald, everybody.
He's got good hair. He's got good hair.
That's
tilt your head down, Rick. Tilt your head down. Come on. Yep, bald as hell in the back.
I am not my older brother. Anywho, so damn, even my brother catching strays on this show. All right, so I'll say that I like Baron Corbin. I like Baron Corbin a lot. Personally, yes. Ozzy can say he is my buddy. I talked to him in SummerSlam in Cleveland, and I'm gonna have that article coming out here soon. Now for SI, but I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good worker. Am I confident that this pairing with Apollo Crews is going to go anywhere? They have not given me anything to believe that this thing is going to go somewhere. So I guess we'll see next week. We'll get the next installment with them and Legado del Fantasma.
He had good chemistry with Braun Breaker, and then they said, let's throw him up on the main roster and put him with somebody else. Apollo Crews. It's like, no, that's not how that works. That's not how it works. He's not going to have chemistry with everybody.
The move worked for Braun Breaker, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, Braun. Yeah, that's what I said. You couldn't do the Wolf Dogs and still have what Braun Breaker's doing. So I'm fine with Braun being on his own. But I would have kept Baron Corbin, honestly, in NXT if this was the plan.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm almost wondering if like Baron Corbin with a Carmelo Hayes would have worked a little bit better. Like kind of the same situation that you had with him and Breaker in NXT, but you can do it with Breaker's counterpart, the guy who came in with him at the same time, the two blue chippers, and have him kind of play that heel mentor role for Carmelo on the main roster. I almost feel like that might have been a better move, but what they're doing with Carmelo and Andrade right now is working. So, hey, we'll see how things shake out in the long run. We had our 6-woman tag team match tonight, the Unholy Union against the Big Three. Loved the Big Three tonight. Damn it. I'm forgetting her name. The Olympian.
That's how it starts. That's how
Simone
it starts.
Simone Biles. I loved the Simone Biles tribute to all three of them and their gear tonight. Yeah. That was nice. These three work really, really well together, and they just look like an all-star trio tonight. Jade Cargill, looked spectacular. When she comes in and she gets off that hot tag and she can showcase her athleticism and she can showcase her strength because she can do things in a wrestling ring that not a lot of women on the main roster can do, save for maybe Bianca Belair. She looked great. Naomi gets the win on Blair Davenport. Those two did not wrestle a whole lot with one another, but they did finish things out tonight. Still caught Blair Davenport looking, just waiting for that rebound kick. But other than that, I thought this was a good matchup. The Big Three looked strong ahead of their Jade and Bianca getting their tag team title rematch at Bash in Berlin. SP3, what did you think of this one?
This was a lot of fun, actually. I thought I actually was exceeded my expectations of this matchup because I thought Jade looked probably the best she's looked in the last couple of months. I like Bianca Belair to be in the babyface in peril, and she was getting a big reaction from this crowd. And like I said, a hot crowd can carry a lot of things. And even though I said overall I thought the show was dull and very much a filler, the crowd elevated. The crowd was carrying on this show, and they carried this matchup to at least be good. And I thought that the babyface squad getting the win makes a lot of sense. It gives them momentum heading into Bash in Berlin, where I expect Cargill and Belair to win back the tag team titles, because Isla Dawn and Alba Fire are probably the least over women's tag team champions they've ever had. And they are two talented women, but they have done nothing with them to get them over.
Man.
They're
Sadly,
missing something like personality. I think they're.
Oh, they got that. They're just not allowed. They just haven't been able to showcase it. They have not, like, there really hasn't been anything that they have been given creatively other than the tag team titles, and they literally within the last few weeks have just been allowed to defend them. Like, at least they gave them a successful defense in a triple threat match on Monday. Jesus. But I understand if you're new to them, Dutch, and you've only seen them outside, if you have no idea what they did in NXT with all the vignettes and the packages and the spooky witch stuff that they did where they had character and personality, I understand you saying that if you had no idea about any of that beforehand.
And I don't. It's not what they did in NXT, because I didn't see that. A lot of people don't watch that, I'm sure.
No, I know.
But watching them now, they got to get over it now. They're not in NXT. They're in WWE. So that's their field of play. So they need to get over. Hey, did you see that sign to you from Mr. Damon, Rick? He said that's how it starts.
Yes, I was the one who put that on there. Yeah.
Thank you. That is. He's been having this problem for a while now, but that is how it starts.
Yeah, about 36 years.
But it surprised me that they let Naomi win the match.
It's not me. No, because after she lost I don't know if you saw the show last week, but after she lost to Blair Davenport in her hometown last week, she was definitely getting that win.
50-50 booking.
50-50 booking tonight. Dutch, it is time for your favorite part of the show.
I ain't playing that game.
It is time to play Brain Buster.
I'm not playing it. It's embarrassing.
Hang on. Let me get this out of the way. Boom, here we go. All right. We will leave it now for those of you who are new to the show. All right, this is Brainbuster, available on sportskeeda.com. It is basically our version of Wordle. All right, and you are trying to figure out who the superstar is. And it's very simple. You make a guess, and then you have to match with these 6 categories. What brand are they on? Whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or an alumni.
Explain this. What brand are on now?
Like I said, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or they're an alumni.
It's not always accurate with the brands, to be fair, Dutch.
Thank you.
One time, Sheamus popped up as on Raw, so they needed to.
Hey, Sheamus is on College Game Day. Isn't Sheamus on the game in Ireland tomorrow?
Yeah, he was on Pat McAfee's show today.
Oh, good.
But anywho, whether they're a Hall of Famer, what gender, height, age, and WrestleMania appearances. All right, so those are the 6 categories we got to hit. Dutch, any guesses? You always good to go first.
What am I guessing? Anybody?
Anybody.
As long as they have wrestled for WWE at some point.
Yeah. I can say anybody.
Anybody.
Yes.
Bret Hart.
All right, let's go with Bret Hart.
Good guess. Good start.
And look at that.
I said that. Good start.
So they are an alumni, so not an active member of the roster. They are a Hall of Famer, and it is a male. And they are above 6 foot tall. They are under the age of 67 and have less than 13 WrestleMania appearances. SP3, your guess.
So they're above 6 feet tall,
Mm-hmm.
but younger than 67. All right. Let's go Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay,
you
wow. You got the
Look at
height
that.
right. Oh, dang. Okay. Shit. All right, so an alumni.
They're older than 58.
Yes. So between 59 and 67 and under 8 WrestleMania appearances.
Under 8.
Under 8.
Ooh,
Well, that took my guess away.
that's interesting. So they're between 67 and 58.
Yeah.
And under 8 WrestleMania appearances. Okay, you're up, Rick.
Oh, he's stumped. Look at him. He don't know.
Yeah, I knew
damn,
he had over.
Damn. Yeah, he's way over WrestleMania. Anyway, okay, that was a bad guess. Go ahead, Dutch.
Where did Shawn Michaels? Who said? Did you say him?
I said Shawn Michaels. That I don't know why I thought he had less than 8 WrestleMania appearances. That was a dumb guess.
So if I say something about somebody who's passed away, they don't count, right?
No,
that's an alum.
Yeah, they're an alum.
Okay. But how about the age? He doesn't have an age now. If he's passed away,
whatever age he passed away at.
Yeah,
it has to be between 58 and 67. At least we know what age someone passed away at.
Yeah.
And how many WrestleMania appearances?
Under 8.
Boy, that takes away a lot of guesses.
Yeah.
It really does.
What's the chat saying? Anybody in the chat? What are we thinking?
Yeah, help me out, guys.
We got Macho Man. We get definitely not Undertaker Ozzy. He is a lot more than
way,
appearances.
Way over 8.
I was going Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat.
I'll say Steamboat then.
All right, Ricky.
He's under 67, right?
We'll find out. Nope.
Damn it.
He ain't 6'2" either. Under 5 WrestleMania appearances, though.
Ooh, under 5. Okay, that numbers it down quite a bit. So they're an alum, they're a Hall of Famer, they're male, and they're 6'2", and they are over 58, and under 5 WrestleManias.
I think I know.
Trying to think who's 6'2". Who is 6'2"? Well, let's go. I see that in the chat, so I'll go with that. Yokozuna.
He's been there. He's been there more than 5 times, hasn't he?
I don't think so.
1. All right. I am not going to use the clue. I'll let Dutch use the clue if I don't get it, but I think I got it.
Okay.
I think I got it. I think
Rick is good at this game.
I think it's a man who just retired this year.
Sting!
Alumni, Hall of Famer, male, 6'2", age 65. Only 1 WrestleMania appearance in which he lost to Triple H, but let's be honest, he should have won.
And he might show up at All In on Sunday.
That's why he was fresh in mind. There we go.
Hey, I call bullshit on this one. I think
Rick's got it.
For Rick to win, I think they're saying, "Okay, Rick, here's the answers." He's looking at his phone the whole time. They're giving him the answer.
Yeah, they're phoning it in, literally phoning it. All right, there we go. All right, we can stop sharing this now.
Well done, Rick.
I do what I can. I finally found a game I'm good at. I'm actually half decent at Wordle too, so maybe that's just part of it. I don't know.
Maybe it helps. Maybe it
does help. Start playing Wordle, Dutch. I do want to talk to you though, Dutch. We had a video package for Bash of Berlin coming up next week. We had Natalia narrating. I thought this was a really nice video package of the history of WWE in Berlin, highlighting 1993 Raw, where British Bulldog defeated Owen Hart to win the first ever European Championship.
97.
97. I wrote 93, wrong year. But regardless, wanted to ask you, you've been around the world. You've wrestled pretty much anywhere and everywhere. Any great memories of wrestling in Germany or Berlin, or any good stories you got there?
Well, we were in a building in Munich, which is where they tell me where Hitler gave his famous speech about the Jewish people, and that was the building that he did it in. I mean, you can actually. I was in that building, and I cannot believe that Hitler was in that same building, and you could almost. I'm not saying I felt him, but to be in the same building as he was historical to start off with, and I was actually glad to be inside that building. Germany was a lot of fun. It really was, and the people were very nice and responded very well. And it's like when you go to France or Germany or the UK, they're not used to getting WWF, WWE shows, live shows. They are through the roof because this is a new experience for them. And it's really fun to work there. It really is.
I just got uncomfortable with you saying you stood where Hitler stood.
No, I didn't stand where Hitler stood. I was in the same building.
I mean, you might have. How do you know?
He probably walked the halls. But anyway, just to be around that, because people go to that building, I'm sure, and this is where he said it. And if you're a history buff like I am,
that's creepy.
Come on, stop it.
I'm just saying it's creepy. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel. Honestly, being in that situation. Andy Wilson, awkward exchange here. Let's just go. Andy Wilson, isn't Natty's contract up soon? It was, according to Fightful, she did re-up, even though she has not appeared on TV. This is actually her first appearance.
How long has she been there? How long has she been there? 20?
Like
2010? 08, 09, 10, somewhere in that ballpark?
08, yeah.
Been there for a hot minute. Over a decade. Well over a decade.
Really? I thought she was there longer.
At this rate, she might be there 20 years. We'll see.
Seems like she's been there since the end of the Vietnam War. Really, tell you the truth.
Seriously, it has.
We had our second title match tonight. Tag team titles on the line. Bloodline versus the Street Profits. But before that, we got Solo Sikoa on the mic. And he had three things he wanted to get out tonight. First, he wanted the crowd to acknowledge him. They did not. They said that the OTC is done. I highly doubt it. He said that he's got next between Cody and KO. He better not. And then he tells Jacob Fatu to hand over his tag team title belt and give it to Tongaloa. Remember, Tongaloa was not medically cleared, got gouged in the eye, and Jacob Fatu subbed in at that point. I don't know why the Freebird rule isn't a thing all of a sudden, but now he has handed over his tag team championship to Tongaloa because he cannot be the personal bodyguard of the tribal chief and be a tag team champion at the same time, apparently. SP3.
Good angle.
He got a promotion to personal enforcer. I thought Solo came across very well here, and Jacob Fatu, man. I just love this guy. He might be my favorite character on this whole entire show. Where he looked very unsure at first, when Solo says step up and give him the title, and then handing the title over to Tongaloa, and then all of a sudden he turned around like he was so filled with pride when Solo promoted him to enforcer. He's like, "I love you, Solo. I love you, Solo."
That was good.
God, it's so good.
But when he said, "Hand your title to," was it Tonga?
Tongaloa.
Yeah, Tongaloa.
Everybody's head started, okay, where are we going here? And they could just see the future. I mean, it opens up a lot of doors for him. So, but when he turned around, then it's okay for now. But I like the way they create these scenarios that later on that they can come back to. Because that's what I've been saying the whole time. Wrestling fans do not forget. Sid's a perfect example of that. You hadn't forgot anything that happened before, right, Sid?
Nope.
I mean, on any angle, you said, no, wait a minute. They did this like 3 weeks ago or a month ago, and now you're telling me this? Bull crap.
Sid's faster than Google. Like, honestly, how many times do I send you messages, like, even if it's early in the morning, like, hey, am I misremembering this? Because I know I will get the answer faster just asking you than actually trying to Google it.
Appreciate that.
Sid's the man. Sid is absolutely the man on this. But the tag team title match ended up being the Bloodline, the Tongans, against the Street Profits. First off, the Street Profits come out and interrupt Solo, and we get, my God, SP3, we get a deep cut Family Matters reference on this show from Montez Ford. Like, even growing up, I watched every episode of Family Matters. It took me a minute to realize what the hell he was talking about for a hot second there. And I don't even know if I remember it all the way, but props to him for trying. I don't know how many people picked up on that one. But the Profits do end up losing this matchup thanks to Jacob Fatu screwing them over, super kicking them both with the walking boot. That allowed Tama Tonga to hit his, I don't know what you would call it, quick strike DDT, whatever the hell.
Flatliner.
Yeah, the flatliner. He ends up beating Dawkins. They attack him after the match. DIY comes out to try to make the save. They end up getting their asses kicked as well. Bloodline stands strong in this one. How did you guys feel about the booking of this match and the Street Profits? Essentially, they didn't lose clean, but basically the same booking that happened with DIY, just the numbers game getting the best.
I think if they'd have done anything else, that's doing a disservice to the Samoan kids. If you're going to put them over, and they did. And then just to make sure they got over, they sent DIY in there. They get their little asses handed to them. So when people leave, they say, man, those Samoans are for real, because they don't give them anything cheap. They beat these guys 1, 2, 3, and then somebody else comes in, they beat them too. So you got to have a little bit of respect for them. And where they're going is, of course, they're opposite Roman Reigns, and they got and Solo is leading them. So they don't have much choice but to get over, because that's the way they book them well.
Crowd was good. I wasn't really into this matchup because I kind of knew the result the entire way. That always hurts my enjoyment of certain matches. But I mean, it was fine. It was fine. I thought the Street Profits, the Street Profits look good with their hot tag. Montez flying all over the place. Angelo Dawkins, one of the most improved wrestlers in the world, and the finish makes sense. It's Solo. It's Jacob Fatu being the difference maker. He's the X factor in this bloodline. So him being the cause of the Tongans getting the win makes sense.
Who did the big dive out of the ring? Who was that?
Montez.
Yeah,
that was tremendous.
The camera angle of that was,
it's almost like they expected that. Set that camera angle up.
You would have thought it was planned.
Yeah.
No kidding. But it was a beautiful shot.
I mean,
coming over, boom.
And that's saying something. That's saying something because when they typically do that spot, they got the camera like underneath, like behind the guys, like looking almost directly up at the turnbuckle. And that's a great shot too, when Tez just completely flies up over the camera. It's just impressive what that man can do. And for me, I did enjoy the match. I thought maybe for like a half second with them putting the belt on Tongaloa, I'm like, are they going to do some kind of, are they going to change the titles here? I thought maybe DIY gets involved to equal things out. That did not end up happening. I was more interested. I would have been
disappointed if DIY went in there and did anything.
Yeah.
I would be totally disappointed.
I was 98% sure that the Bloodline was winning. I was more interested in what was going to happen with the Street Profits afterwards, because I'm sitting here and I'm going, can we do something with them? Can we do something with them? And
they just had 2 years. They've done stuff with them, and they're still sitting in the same spot.
Have they done anything with them the last 2 years? It felt
they tried to push them. See, they're reading different metrics than we're reading. We're just watching TV. They're looking at a lot of other stuff.
I think they have cooled off on the Street Profits overall, and it's not just them not winning titles in the last 3 years, which they mentioned. I think it was last week, but it just feels like the Bobby Lashley experiment didn't work. They feuded them with Karrion Kross and the TikTokers for 4 months, and that just made
that's a kiss of death.
Exactly. That just made them
Let me in the
less
same ring with Karrion Kross as kill them off.
But we've seen over the last couple of weeks, you give them the opportunity to wrestle, they'll get over with the crowds. And the crowd was behind them tonight here as well. So I'm hoping that they can do something. The post-match gives me faith that it's at least leading to an 8-man tag with the Bloodline versus Street Profits and DIY, which means that, oh God, I have to go more than 1 week without Roman Reigns. Are y'all going to do multiple weeks with no Roman? Come on, WWE. Please don't do this to me. I know Dutch and Rick liked tonight's show. But I didn't because there was no Roman.
Because we're real fans, Mr. Sid.
I acknowledge my tribal chief.
Oh,
The
I
OTC.
do too.
The OTC. Hey, if we don't get Roman Reigns next week, we get a street fight for the WWE Women's Championship, which should be a ball. I liked Mi Chin's vignette tonight where she was in, what is it? It's not like a panic room or an escape room, but what do they call those rooms where you go and you just break shit? Like
break room.
I thought it was Limp Bizkit's break stuff. Give me something break tonight.
I'm just talking about like the room that she's in. What are those? Like it's cheap therapy is what it is. Like you just go in there and you just
and
it's not
is it called?
I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's called. I need to go to one though. Looked like a lot of fun. But they had her back there talking about, you know, how everybody's like, she's never been good enough. She's never been pretty enough. She's never been skinny enough. Like no one really ever believed in her. And she keeps fighting through all that. We get Nia backstage. She's pissed off that her crown is broken from Mi Chin shattering it last week. Basically orders Tiffy and Pretty Deadly to go fix it. And they go scurrying off. And then we get your girl, Dutch. Chelsea and Piper talking around the corner.
What were they saying? I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, so they're talking shit about the celebration that Tiffany put together last week because they told Tiffany that pink is not Nia's color. It's not going to be something she's going to like. You're going to do a terrible job. And then so they were back there talking shit about the ceremony. Then they started once again sowing those seeds of doubt by saying, Tiffany's only hanging around Nia because she's going to wait for the opportune moment to cash in on her. I wouldn't be surprised if she did it after the street fight next week. And then the way they were talking, and Piper was great too here, by the way, totally underrated, just going along with everything that she was saying. It felt like they were doing it on purpose. Like they knew Nia was there. But when Nia walks around the corner, like Chelsea gets so startled. I'm like, how did you not know she was right there? So I don't know if they were doing it on purpose, but even just like the presence of Nia being there was enough to scare Chelsea. Either way, like Chelsea and Nia there's something that's going to go down between them, which is ultimately going to lead to Nia and Piper at some point. I'm ready for 100% full-fledged babyface Chelsea though. Like I'm 100% ready for it whenever we're going to get it.
People love her anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't deny that. And if WWE fights it, they won't fight it long because when they put that merchandise out there and it starts selling, her stock will rise.
All right. That's the show.
That's it.
We talk about the tag match.
See you guys later.
I mean, we did. We talked about the main event earlier. I mean, I look, the main event match, I kind of thought it was a bit paint by number. Yes, I enjoyed it.
Very.
Crowd was hot.
I think that's what gave me this overall feeling of this show was pretty dull because the payoff of the main event was just like I've seen the same main event like a few weeks ago, guys.
Were you expecting maybe when you saw Kevin Owens look at Cody and make a move, did you think he was going to do it?
No. The only thing I thought I was like
not for 1/2 second.
No, I was like that would have been a cool finish to do like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. to really kind of establish this story before the Grayson Waller kind of video showing proof that Kevin Owens has betrayed other people. It just, I wasn't feeling tonight's show. It's fine if y'all did. That's just my opinion. I just felt it was rather dull.
I can honestly say I don't feel like I wasted my 2 hours, but I didn't think it was great. Right? Like I think I give it about a 6.5. It was.
That's where I'm at.
It's a solid show.
And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. WWE. If this was 3 years ago, I would be right with y'all and say this was a really good show in comparison to everything else. But
the bar has been raised.
Exactly. They raised the bar, especially since SummerSlam. Like I said the same thing about Raw this week. Raw this week was even more boring because Raw has set the bar even higher than SmackDown has. So I had the bar high. I lowered the bar because Roman wasn't here, and I didn't feel like it even met the bar. It was just below the bar of a 7 out of 10. It was a 6.5 out of 10 because the high crowd carried.
Michael asking, any thoughts on if Shane McMahon will show up at All In? I think there's going to be a lot of surprises at All In. I think Ricochet is a slam dunk for the Casino Gauntlet match. Or maybe they do something with Will Ospreay instead. God, could you imagine if Ricochet showed up and helped MJF beat Will Ospreay? That would be.
No, you can't kill the territory in England. I think
all
Will
the heat
Ospreay will win.
All the heat. Give me all the heat. Fire up Ricochet right off the bat. But I think the Casino Gauntlet match for sure. But I don't know. I don't feel like anything gets done between Shane McMahon and AEW. I just don't know what the benefit for AEW is other than a holy shit, here's a McMahon and AEW moment. Like I don't know. Any thoughts on that one, guys?
Well, shouldn't AEW clear up their TV access? Are they still talking about that? Have they signed anything?
It seems like Fightful reported that they have a deal in hand, and I think that would be one of like announcements on the show. If not on the show, but very, very soon they're going to announce this TV deal being done, which Tony Khan seems very happy about because he's wearing Warner Brothers Discovery hats and Max hats everywhere he goes. So I think that they don't need Shane McMahon to finalize this deal. But I am with what Dutch said when we originally talked about this. Just the Earth 2 of a McMahon being in AEW. I am a sicko for content. I'm a content creator, and that's just great content to talk about. It's Shane McMahon in AEW, and I'm fine with that. And I should mention to Dutch that MJF mentioned you in an interview that he did with Wrestle Talk. He says that he's glad that Dutch Mantell has a job as a podcaster because he wants to see all guys like you having jobs and getting paid out here.
Well, he said it in a nice way, though. And I didn't say anything bad about him. I said he's a great. If he had better material, that's what I said. Basically, he's a tremendous on the mic and in the ring. He just needs better stuff to work with. Him and Will Ospreay will burn it down.
They have had great stuff, especially that promo on Wednesday, and I think they're going to have a great match. And I'll be there live. I'll be on the floor at Wembley Stadium, so I'm looking forward to seeing Bryan Danielson with possibly his last match ever. What do you think about that? Do you think we're going to see Bryan Danielson lose on Sunday and retire, or do you think he becomes the AEW World Champion, Dutch?
What's he going? He's going for the AEW title?
The AEW World title against Swerve Strickland in the main event of All In, and if he loses, it's the end of his career.
Never wrestle again.
Ever.
See,
but fans are now, when people say, "Oh, it's my last match, I'm not going to do anymore."
I was going to say, when has there ever been finality in wrestling?
No kidding. Hell, Terry Funk had retirement for 20 years in Japan.
Your boy Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. I think
my last match until I need money.
I think he wins because that's going to be a pretty good crowd, and I don't think they want him to be disappointed. I think he wins. Then they come back and do on TV something with him. That's what I think. That's what I
think I want him to win. Bryan Danielson is my favorite wrestler of all time, so I want him to win, but I'll be in tears if he loses.
I think he ain't gonna have it long. He's got transitional champion written all over him. Dude's said plainly he needs neck surgery sooner rather than later. Man, I don't know. I feel like an unhinged Hangman could play a role in that because he just wants to see Swerve burn to the ground. But I almost want Bryan to win it clean. I don't know. I don't know. But I think Bryan will win it. Here's something I never thought I'd say on this show. Roland Curtis with a super chat. Speaking of Hitler.
See, it didn't go unnoticed. See?
Oh my God. Never thought I'd say that. He may be the second biggest household name regarding historical political leaders, though he is very unpopular. Okay, I was wondering where that was going. In wrestling, Hogan has the name. Austin is more popular. Who is greater?
Who was that question to? Any of us?
Any of us.
Let me read this again so we can handle it a little bit. It's very unpopular. In wrestling, Hogan has the name. Austin's more popular. Who is greater between Hogan and Austin? Is that the question?
That is a very convoluted way of asking who.
I'm going to say Austin. I think he's greater, and I think people remember him because Hogan was back 30 years ago, right?
30,
40
now.
Oh no, but he wrestled in the late.
Yeah,
he wrestled in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying. So I think Austin would be bigger because Austin has limited his appearances, and even his last WrestleMania appearance that people might think he was going to wrestle. He didn't do that, so he didn't have to.
If you're talking about, it depends on
he's talking about Hitler is what he's talking about.
I heard him, or I read it, yes, but just from a longevity standpoint, Hogan has Austin beat. Austin's peak was shorter than what Hogan was. But I think this is a generational question. This is like a generational question. If you're an older guy, you're going to say Hogan. If you're somebody in my age bracket, you're probably going to say Austin. I would say Austin personally.
I think the question is really simple. When you say greater or who's the greatest, it's all those factors. It's not just who was over or who had a longer peak. It's not who was more popular, who was the better wrestler, who was the better talker, who was the better character, who was the bigger draw. It's all of those things combined into one. And I would say it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. On my GOAT conversation, I have Austin at number one. He's number one overall because he was great. He was an A+ at all those things. Character, on the mic, in the ring. His peak, despite it being so short, like a 5-year run. It's one of the hottest periods in the history of the business. Hogan kind of set the standard for WWF and made it a household name, but Austin is the one that took it to new heights. It's very much the conversation like in basketball. Magic and Bird kind of made the NBA and a household name, but Jordan is the one that took it to new heights. Jordan is Austin.
Very fair. Yeah, 100%. Very, very fair. And look, honestly though, and Roland bringing it up in the chat, Hogan, a bigger household name. I think if you polled people on this, just random people on the street, people who maybe don't watch wrestling, and you say, which name do you recognize? More people are probably going to recognize Hulk Hogan than Stone Cold Steve Austin. But again, it's a very nuanced question. It's a very, very nuanced question. I appreciate the question though.
Yeah.
New rule. We never bring up Hitler on this show again. Never.
I was going to bring up Mussolini, but I wasn't in Italy. So
I swear, as you say that, Raju.
We need to have some historical.
We
need to have some historical references somewhere. We just can't.
Hey,
we can't be politically correct all the time. But he was in the same building, and it was a very, very important speech. It's still written about today. And I was in the same building where it happened. I thought that,
Hey, at least Mussolini, by the way, gets brought up and see Hitler every Monday. Every Monday. We get Mussolini every Monday on Raw when CM Punk is there. That's it. That's the only reference we're allowed.
Hitler or Mussolini, you got to go with Hitler. He was more over. He did more dastardly shit.
Fuck me running. SP3, what you got going on True Heel Heat this week?
Check us out tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat Flagship Podcast. We're celebrating 7-year anniversary of our flagship podcast. So join us live for that. The True Draw Josh will be with me, and our special guest is New Japan Pro Wrestling's lead English commentator, Walker Stewart. We're going to be talking about the G1 Climax and Zack Sabre Jr. winning the tournament, first British wrestler to do that. So join us live for that and the celebration, of course.
Dutch?
Oh, my turn now? I do.
Yes. What do you got going on?
After you castigated me about bringing that up?
I
think you need to be reported. I'm going to report you. I'm going to stooge you.
To who? To what?
To your boss. To your boss. I am.
Pick one.
Hey, well, I don't know who your bosses are except one. That's the only one I can pick.
I got a list of 7 of them. I'll send them your way.
Well, good. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Plug your shit.
Hey, just write me at Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's at gmail.com. If you got a question, I'll get back to you. And I want to thank everybody who checked on the status of my wife. It's very much appreciated. So thank you guys.
Follow me on X or Instagram at Rick Ucchino, like you see right there. Again, I got a conversation for Kevin Owens coming out on Sports Illustrated this coming Monday morning, so be on the lookout for that. And that is just the first of many, for sure.
And congratulations to Rick on the new role at Sports Illustrated. I told him on social media, I told him before we went live, but I want to do it on camera. This guy deserves it. Couldn't happen to a better person. Sports Illustrated has themselves a gem over there in Rick Ucchino.
Y'all gonna make me cry on there. I need to.
I will second that.
Damn, that's a
ditto
from Dutch.
You got a great endorsement from Sid, and I seconded it. So you're in good shape.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Genuinely. Right now, though, I've been up since 3 a.m. I'm ready for bed. We'll be back next Friday, y'all. Talking about SmackDown in Berlin.
And Hitler.